What's up guys and ladies, Kris here, and welcome to a side quest right here on QOB. Today we're taking a look at The Art of Fallout 4, a coffee table book detailing the creative processes from small rough sketches on the page all the way up to the living, breathing world of post-apocalyptic Boston. I got hold of the limited edition version of this book, which comes with some pretty nice additional little features, such as an additional 16-page art gallery, a portfolio print which we'll see a bit later on, a deluxe slipcase, and of course a digital copy of the book itself. The first thing I notice is how satisfyingly hefty the book is when it comes packed in this really cool, sleek, limited edition metallic finish sleeve. And the sleeve itself is actually really cool. Like, it's got this kind of matte metallic finish on it, which kind of really oozes quality when the power armor makes it instantly recognizable. Welcome home. I absolutely love game art books, from seeing those far out designs that never really made it past the page, all the way up to those realistic 3D renderings of that final product. The book details the transition from Fallout 3 of a world that people are barely clinging onto, whereby the colour palette they used is using a lot of browns and greys to really depict that barrenness of the wasteland, all the way up to Fallout 4 where they wanted to give it more of a rebuilding / hope vibe, used a lot more vibrant colours on that colour palette. These subtleties operate on our subconscious and show us how these artists kind of consider every single detail in making the world just as they want you to experience it. The most recognisable part of any Fallout game is of course the power armour, and they've depicted it here on that front sleeve really nicely. I absolutely love that metallic kind of effect that they've put on it, and the welcome home just gives it that dash of professional. So let's have a look inside this sleeve. Oh, the book itself is really lovely. It's got this super minimalist kind of vibe going on. It is just a black background with the Fallout 4 logo, but those gold leaf pages look absolutely stunning. So let's take a look at the main event. Contents-wise, it's broken down into several sections, which is great. It's similar books that I've seen appear random and lack any sort of narrative. I also love how big it is, and at 365 pages, it's very fitting given the scale of the world. I really love how close some of the art got to the actual game, and this pre-production section gives us a lot of details about their starting point and initial ideas when they came to thinking about what they were going to do in the game. Especially when it came to those iconic parts of Fallout, such as the power armor, the vault suit, and some of the robots that we saw in the previous games. Here we can see the memory den in Goodneighbor, and its concept art kind of looks a bit seedy, don't you think? Well, apart from dog meat, that is. It's one of my favourite ideas in the game, and the ability to relive memories is really cool. But it's a shame you can't really relive some of the Soul Survivors pre-war memories, because I think a lot of us kind of want to see a bit more of that. My favourite part of any Fallout game is the vaults. I absolutely love discovering the wicked experiments that went on behind the closed doors. Vault 17 is a rather unusual one. The Fallout wiki states its location is unknown beyond being in New California. The jumpsuit is oddly featured here in the book, but apparently the vault was raided in 2154 by the Master's Army, and all of its inhabitants subsequently turned into super mutants. Okay, so on to the characters. Fallout 4 features loads of character models, from railroad agents, as we can see here on the picture, a little bit about them, all the way through to Diamond City Security, with their cool, they're kind of swatters, aren't they? I think that's what they're called. And there's a ton of other things such as raiders and robots. And I'm not sure whether they did this in previous games, but it looks like they did some pretty epic face scanning as well. Also, they decided to have multiple versions of the power armor too, and it details here why they chose that modular design on the common frame. I personally love this idea, and it almost feels like it could be some kind of reality someday. One of my favourite parts of actually playing the game was exploring the wasteland and collecting all of the bits of the power armor to make a full set. I think I got most of the set sorted, but I don't think I got a T-51 head, which is a shame. I also loved modding them up in the Red Rocket truck stop, and I absolutely hoarded fusion cores in practically every frame I could get my hands on. Actually had a jetpack. Eventually, I actually ended up with the XO1 power armor set, which I think is featured on the next page here. And I fully pimped it up with, with a shark paint job, which I got in a Hot Rod magazine, because who wouldn't, right? I was really surprised at the detail that went into the robots, the creatures, and the creepy crawlies in the game. Well, that arguably are now the size of a medium-sized van. The robots, of course, are my favourite though, and I love the detail that's gone into every single aspect of them, like including their frames and their internals. I also love the Protectrons. And I absolutely love how this time they've got loads and loads of different personalities, but by far I think my favourite is the Mr. Handy robot, but well, because Codsworth is such a legend. And I absolutely love how they've considered every single detail about his frame. And I actually read an article which said that they actually considered like all of the internals of a Mr. Handy robot as if he was going to go into production, which is something that I would really love to see. A huge part of any Fallout is, of course, the weapons. And they've taken a different approach to it this time by allowing you to mod up loads and loads of different weapons to your own specification. My favourites are the melee weapons, such as this shish kebab. Vehicles wise, it is a little bit disappointing how you can't ride or drive any of those vehicles, but there are plenty of them dotted around, like that Lone Wanderer motorcycle that I've featured here. And like the other cool thing is that they all run on nuclear fusion, so they go off with a bang when you shoot them. My favourite part of the entire book, however, is the set dressing section, and in here they detail all of the little bits and pieces they put together to make the world like a hell of a lot more immersive. So they've got the Nuka-Cola bottle here, and they've also like kind of designed the boxes for Mr. Handy. Like you actually see a pristine version of this box, like even after 200 years. Like, and this just kind of reminds me of Dan's PlayStation memory card box, which he's still got to this day. There's definitely a cool section on Pip-Boys. These are kind of dotted throughout the book. This is kind of like an old prototype, I think. Like, it's got the old Pip-Boy mascot in the top right-hand corner. One thing that Fallout has in abundance, of course, is logos and advertisements for things. Like, they've put so much detail into each and every one of them, and they like look as though they could be real-life ones that you can see to this day. If, like me, you enjoy collecting the magazines throughout the game to get those additional perks, you'll absolutely love seeing some of the large versions that they've printed here in the book. Like, I'm actually quite surprised on the cost of some of them. Actually, I didn't actually realize that they were about $32. And like, there's a multitude of them throughout the game. Like, and each one gives you a cool perk. And like, one of the cool things about it is that they've drawn loads and loads of them for each of the comics. And like, one of the cool ones that I've seen recently is the Massachusetts Surgical Journal, and I think that Mr. Handy and can actually coddling the baby is fantastic. And like, the other really good one is the Guns and Bullets, like, which is lasers and hunting, acceptable overkill. The long images that you see here were actually available as like lithographs from the Bethesda store, and sadly I didn't get my hands on one of these. It's also a real shame that they're put in the centerfold of a page. These ones also feature extra bits and pieces on the side, like this Soul Survivor here. This one is my desktop wallpaper, and I can't help but look into the distance and see all the little details that they've put in. So that has been the art of Fallout 4. I could have actually made a video about an hour long going through this book. There's so much stuff that you just have to see. And if you can get your hands on this book, I definitely would. I'll leave a link down in the description below to the version that I have in case you want to get yourselves a copy. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and a comment below with what you want to see next on the channel, and I will try my best to get hold of it. And finally, here is that limited edition portfolio that's included in the box. It comes with this rather snazzy slipcase, and I think I might actually get that one framed as it happens. And that's it. I've been Chris, and I will see you guys on the next one.